ככה למי שלא יכל להצטרף אלינו, אז ההקלטה הזו, למי שם תהיה זמינה אצלנו באתר לאחר מכן. אז שוב, ברוכים הבאים. אנחנו ברשותכם נתחיל. כמו תמיד, האירוע שלנו, בעצם חלק מהפעילות שלנו בבורטוקלה, ואנחנו, היום אנחנו מארחים את ג'ואנה מאלסקו, שמתעסקים בייעוץ והכוונה לזרים, בעצם למהגרים, בכל נושא מערכת החינוך בפורטוגל, מרמת החינוך בגנים, ועד אוניברסיטאות, וכל מה שקשור לאקדמיה ולימודים בפורטוגל, ובפריסה גיאוגרפית מלאה לחלוטין. אז ככה שלא משנה כל כך גיל, מה המורכבות, אני מאמין שאנחנו נוכל לייצר איזשהו פתרון שיענה לצרכים שלכם, ובדיוק בשביל זה אנחנו כאן. אז גם הוובינר הזה, כמו כל שאר הוובינרים בפורטוגל, אתם מאוד 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 מוזמנים לצפות גם באחרים, בנושאים שונים, רבים ומגוונים. היום אנחנו באמת מתעמקים בנושא מערכת החינוך, אבל נגענו בכל כך הרבה דברים, מרילוקיישן, דרך רכישת נדל"ן, ועסקים, ופתיחת עסקים בפורטוגל, ורכישת רכב, ומימון ומשכנתאות, ו-you name it. המון המון נושאים שמטרידים ומעסיקים לא מעט אנשים בקהילה, ואנחנו פה באמת בשביל לתת את הפתרון הזה. קצת על מה אנחנו הולכים לעשות היום, באמת אנחנו קצת מסבירים קצת עכשיו, ונותנים איזשהו מבוא. אני מאוד מאוד אשמח ככה שזה תהיה כמעט שיחה פתוחה, זה לא באמת יכולה להיות שיחה פתוחה, כי בכל זאת יש לנו זמן יחסית מוגבל, אבל אני באמת ארצה שתשתתפו ותכתבו לנו בצ'אט שאלות, תהיות, מה שעולה בראש שלכם, שאנחנו ככה ננסה גם לגעת בזה. יכול להיות שנעצור באמצע אם באמת יהיו שאלות משמעותיות באמצע, ואם לא, אז אנחנו נחכה לסוף ונענה במרוכז לכולם. אנחנו פה באמת כדי לנסות לתת פתרונות סביב ובתוך הנושא של בחירת בית הספר או הגן או כל מוסד השכלה נקרא לזה, ואנחנו מאוד מאוד, אנחנו מבינים כמה זה משמעותי. הבחירה הזאת לא יכולה לעשות בצורה, נקרא לזה, קלה דעת, כי היא באמת משפיעה על איכות החיים של כולם, ועל כל מה שקשור לכל תחום המעבר. אז באמת יש פה הרבה מאוד דברים, אז באמת, כל מה שקשור לאזורים שונים, סוגי חינוך, עלויות, שזה נושא שמטריד המון המון אנשים, ובכלל, אם יש לכם שאלות שקשורות לזה, אז אנחנו נשמח לענות. אני מאמין שעל רוב הדברים נוכל לענות, ואם לא, אז מיד אחר כך אנחנו נוכל לעזור. אז אנחנו בעצם בורטוקלה, מארחים את הוובינר הזה כמו אחרים, אנוכי אסף, ושותפי היקר נועם. אם אתה רוצה, אתה מוזמן לפתוח את המצלמה ואולי להציג את עצמך.
שלום לכולם.
תראו איזה בחור נאה.
בקצרה, שמח שכולכם הצטרפתם אלינו. אני לא הכי עם הפרצוף בחוץ, אני קצת מאחורי הקלעים, דיברתי עם לא מעט מכם, וככה, כמו שאסף אמר, זה אחד הוובינרים באמת המבוקשים, והרבה שאלו והרבה התעניינו, ואני שמח שסוף סוף הרמנו את הכפפה ומדברים על זה, וזהו, מאחל לכולם שצפייה מענה ומועילה, וזהו.
תענוג. וככה טיפה בנושא אחר, הוובינר הזה הוא אחד מסדרה של וובינרים שאנחנו באמת מזמינים את כולכם להצטרף ואולי ליזום אירועים כאלה. היו לא מעט אירועים שחברי הקהילה שלנו כבר הביאו בעצמם, הזדמנויות מעניינות, או תחום שהוא חשוב שצריך. אז אם מישהו מכם יש משהו כזה שמעניין אותו, אתם רוצים להנגיש לעוד אנשים, אתם מוזמנים מאוד 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 לפנות אלינו, ואנחנו נשמח להרים את הכפפה יחד איתכם. לשם מה שהתכנסנו, מערכת החינוך בפורטוגל, הרבה מאוד מכם מדברים על הקושי, על כל מיני קשיים שבמציאת בית הספר, או הגנים, או אפילו המרה של תעודה אקדמית ממה שקורה למה שקורה בפורטוגל. יש חלק שגם הרבה מאוד ישראלים שמאגרים לא רק מישראל לפורטוגל, ויש פה גם הרבה עניינים של יישור קו שאנחנו נעשה היום. אנחנו באמת מנסים לגעת בצורה יחסית רחבה בדרישה, ובאמת אם יש שאלות שהן ספציפיות יותר, תנסו לכתוב אותן בצ'אט וננסה כמה שאפשר לגעת בהכל. אז יש באמת המון 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 מידע, חלקו מבלבל ולא נכון, והעולם המושגים השונה והמבנה השונה של המערכת מייצר הרבה בלגן. אז אנחנו פה ננסה לענות גם על הדברים האלה. אני לא יודע מי מכם, באיזה שלב אתם, אבל יכול להיות שחלקכם גם נמצאים בשלב מאוד מאוד ראשוני של התהליך, שאתם אפילו לא יודעים לקראת הבלגן, לקראת איזה בלגן אתם נכנסים. ממש כמעט מההתחלה אנחנו מדברים, ננסה לפחות להציג ולדבר. העניין של ההבדלים בין האזורים, ובאמת שיש הרבה מאוד אפשרויות של סוגי חינוך שונים וכאלה, אז ננסה לגעת גם בכולם, וכמובן גם נושא העלויות. אז אלסקו פה וג'ואנה ינסו סוג המידע, גם ברמה של המידע, שבאמת אני אומר לכם, בדקנו לא מעט, ויש פה, מדובר בחבר מקצוענים במיוחד, אז תשתמשו בזה, וזה ממש יכול לעזור. וגם באמת לקחת אתכם את כל השלבים, כל אחד שנמצא באיזשהו שלב אחר, כל אחד מטריד אותו שאלה אחרת, ננסה לפשט את זה, ויש פה באמת המון זמן יקר שיכול להיחסך לכם, אז אנחנו שמחים להתחיל. ג'ואנה, I will switch now to English. חברים, if anyone has any question or you want to clarification in Hebrew, don't hesitate, I'm here, we're all here. And Joanna, the stage is all yours, thank you. Just let me know when you want to switch slide, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not able yet to understand all your speech, but some words I know. I've been working with some families from Israel, so I already know how to say some words. So who knows, one day I can speak also with you in Hebrew. So thank you all, and I will try. I speak a lot, and I will try to speak slowly, not to mix my Portuguese and my English, and I will try not to be boring with a lot, but it's a lot of information. It's a challenge to be here talking about a lot of things, and of course that I would like to have time to answer all your questions, and thank you so much for being here, and I know that you will love Portugal as well. I know Asaf likes also, right?
Absolutely.
So I heard my name, so I heard Joanna. So I guess you already presented me. So I'm from Alaska. I represent Alaska. I have this responsibility today to represent Alaska. That is an educational consultancy that is based in Portugal, and we work with families who are in the process of moving, or also families that are already in Portugal and they are looking for new educational perspectives to help them identify and find the ideal school for their children's happiness and, of course, educational success. Alesco was founded in 2001 by Naomi, that is the big boss and the company lead consultant, and he has a lot of expertise across a lot of context around the world. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the process, about also, of course, the educational system in Portugal. Some of this things you can search and you can read everywhere, but of course that I will try to be more specific, or of course say how it works a little bit, of course, because we don't have time, and I want to work with you, so I will be here to provide a deep look at the opportunities that the Portuguese education system offered. So of course that we need to talk about the common challenges that families faces during the relocation, and we'll talk about some practical tools and tips to make sure that the transition is successful. So I want to ensure that at the end of this webinar, you will have a clear understanding about the steps that you need to take, and of course we are here to help you with along this process. So we have an agenda, of course, that we are not going to be so close, but just to understand a little bit how it works in Portuguese. I had the opportunity to learn more about the system, the educational system in Israel, and there are a lot of common things, but of course there are also a lot of differences, not about the language, we're not talking about that, but about the stage. So the first one is the nursery for babies from 4 months to 3 years, and the daycares, the nurseries in Portugal, they provide care and early development for young children. So some are public and some are private, but the best part is that all are free. They are not mandatory. The attendance is optional, but they are free because recently the Portuguese government implemented a measure to make daycares free of charge for all children up to 3 years old. So this measure aims to alleviate the cost of families and promote, of course, access to early childhood education. So it's free, even if the baby is on a public or a private. The government provides the payment of the frequency of the baby. So it's not, as I said, it's not mandatory, but it is because we need to go work, and the most of the families ask and need this service. So we have the preschool. It's not also mandatory, it's optional, but is highly recommended. So the institutions also can be private or public. We here in this stage, we don't have that measure of free of charge like the daycares yet, but there are a lot of options at the public schools to for children ages 3 to 5, 6. So the preschool curriculum in Portugal is designed to, unfortunately, to prepare children for the next step, for the basic education. Sometimes we forgot that they are young and they need to play also, but they promote integral development in areas such as communication, artistic expression, and of course socialization. Then we have basic education, and this is the first stage of the educational system. This is mandatory for everybody. Every child needs to go to the school at this age. Okay, there are of course public and private schools with a lot of options, curriculums also, and it's free for public schools. And we have also a lot of options of public schools and amazing great schools here. So then we have the secondary education that is also mandatory and involves 3 study cycles. It involves several options. The secondary education, several options. So when they finish the basic education, they need to choose a specific, how can I say, a specific option, like an area of specialization, like scientific or humanistic, professional education, and the artistic education. So each with a specific focus to prepare the students for higher education or for the job market. Just to point here that at the final of the secondary education, there is an option. Is different from Israel because they need to make the Bagru. But here, if you want to go to the university, you have to make the national exams to apply for the university. But if you don't want to go to the university, you finish your secondary education, and you don't need to do the national exams. But you can do them later if you want. If you don't know, if the young don't know what to do, if he wants to or he or she wants to think what to do and stop, make a break, they can do the national exams and apply later, 1 year, 2 years, wherever, to the university. So we have the higher education, the university, that we have public and polytechnic institutes, and we have academic degrees like bachelor's, 3 years. We have masters, 2 years of study, and we have PhDs, more than 3 years, and postdoctorate. Okay, we follow the Bologna. I don't know how to translate a commitment. So just to for an example, a teacher here in Portugal, the minimum qualification is a master. Okay, we cannot teach just with bachelor. Okay, every teacher has a master for teaching in basic education or secondary education, or even in preschool and the nursery. Okay, for the university we have to have a PhD. Okay, we have a high standard in this. So I want to talk also in this slide a little bit about the opportunities of the Portuguese system. So I need to focus on the quality For example, we can see in the international rankings that the Portuguese universities are constantly among the top of the institutions. So Portugal is known for the high quality of his education. So we have a lot of universities around the country ranked as the best of the world. And we have also, for example, some government initiatives. We have programs that I guess that is interesting for you, that is a national reading plan. And we have also the introduction of the new subject focusing on digital skills and citizenship. And this year, it's something new. They told us a few days ago. This year, some schools will provide financial literacy for at the school. So some schools were selected to have this first experience. I guess we have 5 schools this year, and then next year all the schools will have this financial program for young kids to prepare them also for the futures. I talked also about the diversity of schools. We have a variety of schools, including public, private. We have also international schools, and schools that follow different curriculum. For example, in my city, Porto, I'm from north of the country, we have the French school, the French school or the German school. They follow the curriculum of the country. Okay, they are here in Portugal, but they follow the curriculum from the French system and the German system, for example. And they are all over. They are in Porto, Lisbon. So we have a different options. We have also a movement of alternative methods, and it's really important. So we have also for students some programs that are personalized, such as guidance or tutoring service at the schools, also in some public schools. These programs, they help the students to maximize their potential. And the Portuguese system offers also resources that are really important for foreign students, or for students non-Portuguese speakers, like study rooms, and they are really essential for students that need extra help in a lot of subjects. About the university, the higher education, we have options available. The country is so small, and we have and we can move around the country in I guess 6 hours from north to south, so it's really small. But for example, a student that finished the secondary education and is really good in science, for example, he can choose engineer at the University of Aveiro. That is an excellent university in this field. So we have a lot of options. About the curriculum and the methodology, is the national curriculum that the most of the schools follow, and of course is defined at national level, and includes mandatory subjects like Portuguese language, maths, sciences, history, geography, physical education, arts, and technology. So education is comprehensive and aims the holistic development of the students. And I guess just not
Jôana,
to forget
I
this.
think, okay, sorry. I think that we can, maybe there was a lot of information in this slide, so I'm just, I want to invite people.
Yeah.
Maybe you can shoot some questions in the chat if you have
Please.
anything related to what we talked about now. And Jôana, just, sorry, you can complete the sentence. Yeah.
I talk a lot. I told you. So
No, it was very helpful.
no, I will try not to forget anything. But so recently we have an increasing focus on digital and innovative skills. I know that in Israel this is really strong in the curriculum, and but we are already working in this. So we have in-person classes with continuous assessment. The methods are traditional, and they are now combined with pedagogical innovation. I have questions now, not yet.
It seems like we don't have any questions, so we can just move ahead.
Next slide. So I already talked about a little bit about this. So we have the public schools, and the public system is really, really good. I don't know if there's a huge difference in Israel in this point or in other parts of the world, but the public system, it's really, really, really good. So we have public schools providing or offering a bilingual curriculum, public schools, okay? It's not usual, no, there are not so many schools, but we have amazing schools. So the public schools, they have no tuition fees for the students. The curriculum is established by the Portuguese Ministry of Education. The instruction is primarily in Portuguese, which can be really challenging for students who don't speak the language. But I have to highlight that we have programs, I don't know how many years, but they are not too old. We have a recent program that is called Program for Portuguese as Non-Native Language. So some foreign students, instead of doing, imagine, for example, the Portuguese national exam, they do this Portuguese for non-native language exam, and of course they are competing in the same level. Okay, they are not doing a Portuguese exam as a native or a Portuguese student, and we have this opportunity for students that they don't speak Portuguese yet. So we have a higher student teacher ratio. Of course, that we have limited. I'm trying to read this.
Yeah, I think that this subject in specific is very, very interesting for many people here. So maybe you can just finish the slide and then we can take some questions from the audience, okay?
Of course, yes. So we have at the public schools, we have limited extracurricular activities like dance, like football. And the enrollment for these schools is based on the student's residence area. So it can be an advantage or an disadvantage depending on the quality of the schools that you have in your city. Okay, private schools, the fees, they depend of the institution. They have a flexible curriculum. They have international curriculum, IB curriculum, or they have an adapted. They have adapted a national the national curriculum, and can be also bilingual, trilingual. There are a lot of options. They offer usual a lower student-teacher ratio, so the student have more personalized attention, and we have extensive extracurricular offerings, a range of activities, sports to arts to holistic development, everything, and they have, of course, rigorous. It's more difficult sometimes. The admission process can include interviews, entrance exams, a lot of things, and sometimes the international schools, for example, they have a lot of people waiting to get in. So I guess I'm ready to answer the question. Just trying to read.
So Kathy is asking, please address the essential differences between public, private, and international schools, including pricing and registration dates for both elementary and secondary schools. I think it's you probably answered at least most of it, but maybe not all. And Amir is again asking about the range of cost of the private schools.
Okay, what I'm going to say in this webinar is it depends of the school, okay? But for an idea, we have schools from 300, 400. It depends of the level of, it depends if it's basic, if it's secondary, okay? It depends. But from 400 euros to 2,000, it depends. Okay, so the registration dates, I will talk also this because we made a slide just for this, and they are at the same time. Okay, maybe at the March, between March and up April. So they are in the same moment. But about the prices, we have a lot of options. So we have also a lot of options for about the prices. So but I guess the minimum is 400. And it goes and flies and go away. So it depends the level of study. What do you want to contract? Like if you want extracurricular activities, if you are asking for support classes. At the private schools, they are paid separately from the rest. So it really depends. But I guess that you might have an idea about the minimum is 400, and the sky is the limit.
Joanna, I think I can also add that the geographic area has a lot of influence of the school tuition fees. So the range is almost non-relevant. So if you decide that you want to have a school like that, there are other factors that you need to decide first, and maybe you can have a budget, a pre-decided budget, and then you can look for the options that are relevant for you. So let's move ahead to the next slide.
And also it's important to say that this kind of schools, international schools, and this private schools, they are located in the big cities like Porto, Lisbon, the Algarve. So they are a little bit more expensive because they are in the big cities of the country. So I would like also, if we have time at the end, to talk about some bureaucracies, about the registration process, some tips about the documents, but I guess I will talk about it at the end. Remind me also about the equivalence process, that is really important. But first, a little bit about our universities, because I know that some of you are searching for a university to study, and we have here some oh yeah, it's public. I mean, the school's ranking is public. We can share later the website of Ministry of Education in Portugal. It's public. If you write in Google, you can easily access to that information, and there's a lot of options. Really, you will be lost with so many options. So first, about the university application, it's really important to research about the universities and programs. Why? Because of the equivalence. First, okay, or you have to have in mind that you have to make the national exams, because there are a lot of conditions to apply to the university. Before applying, you have a lot of work to do before. And of course that it's important to understand if that courses, if that where you want to study, they have a specific admission requirement for each program. And I know that it's also important for you that some of them offer English as first language. It's not easy, but it's possible, especially in the other academic degrees like masters. We have some masters just in English, but in the bachelor, there are not so many, but they exist, okay? But so it's really important to first identify what do you want to study, identify if you have all the if you fill all the admission requirements, and if you have all your diplomas, everything, okay. Because you have to prepare all the documents, the academic transcripts, the certificate of equivalence needs to be asked before to our Minister of Education, called DGA. Sometimes some university, they ask some proficiency language proof. Letters of recommendation, sometimes they ask for, and it's important this for some competitive courses like medicine, engineer. It's really important to have some of these documents. Some courses also may require specific exams. As I said, medical courses can require aptitude tests in addition of the national exams, and more. It's important, of course, to complete the online forms. Most of the universities here in Portugal, they accept online applications. So the candidates, they just have to upload the documents. They don't need to be in person in that moment. They need to be in person later. But in the moment when they are applying, they don't need to be physically there. So it's also important, really important, to follow up monitoring the process, because sometimes we don't get the notification at time, and it's really important to track. This is for free. It's a trick because it's really important to track the status of the application and respond promptly to any request for additional information. And I have to say, from my experience, that they always need additional information, always. So it's really important to have in mind that you have to follow all the steps, and don't miss any date of the application. So let's talk a little bit now about the keys. We have the keys, the key dates, and the enrollment process that was someone asked. So when does the school year start in Portugal? We have typically start in September and ends in June. So we have a huge summer break in between. We have also important holidays where the schools they are closed: the Christmas, Carnival, Easter, and of course the summer break. It's important also that not to forget that we have the national exams that take place usually in June. So if someone wants to apply for the next academic year, not this one, for the next, you have to have in mind that in June you have to be here to do the national exams for admission to the higher education. Okay, without these exams or the equivalence, whatever, you cannot apply to the university. Okay, so this is really important to have in mind. It's really important to prepare with time. So next slide. I guess that is what we want: find the right school. But to find the right school, or the better school for your kids, you have to start sooner as possible. You have to search. My advice is at least 1 year in advance. Why? Because the Institute of the Ministry of Education that is working with the equivalence process, they have a lot of work. There are a lot of process to do, and one process that took usually 1 month now is taking 2, 3, 4 months. So it's really, really important, if you want to apply for the next academic year, that you start now, because we have to do all the process. Imagine if you are going to the basic school or the secondary school, you also have deadlines. You have to apply in the March, April, yes. So you have to have all the documents there they will ask before. So, and sometimes it's not easy. You have to apostillate, you have to translate it to Portuguese, certificate it, and it's really, really difficult to have time for everything. And sometimes we lost the process in the last minute, or for 1 day or 2 days. It's really important. So don't forget that the enrollment period starts in the spring, March, April. And what to do now? My suggestion is research. I don't know, some people want to live next to the school. The school is more important there than everything else. So some families want to find first the school, and then they search for the house and everything. So research, visit school. I know that is not possible when you are so far away. We can do this work. We do in Alaska. We do a lot of this. The application submissions. Again, we have deadlines, and be prepared also for interviews and for that exams, initial exams, if they are applicable. So it's really important to prepare with time. We can help you, of course, but some documents, they must be provided by you and in the local schools, so and be apostolated and then translated and so on. So at the next slide, we find common challenges, but solutions, because when we have a problem, we need to find a solution. So there are a lot of people that have a solution, a problem for each solution, but I'm here to show you that we have, there are a lot of challenges, of course, but we have solutions. The first challenges that are faced by the families is the language. It's really different. If I couldn't understand any word that Azaf was saying. So I guess if I started to speak Portuguese, it'll be the same for you. So it's really difficult. And this can make understanding the classes and for children to integrate with peers really difficult. Okay. For students, I already talked, that don't have Portuguese as their mother language. We have the program, of course. It's not enough. No, at the beginning is not enough. But imagine trying to learn subjects like history or geography in Portuguese, and you don't understand anything. So the solution, of course, we have that programs to help the students, but it's really important to work before a little bit to introduce the language as soon as possible. The cultural differences. We have habits, cultural habits, and of course, educational expectations. They also can be a significant challenge. So we have a lot of groups, we have a lot of companies that can do this, also this amazing work. But for children in Portugal, we have this integration can be facilitated through the extracurricular activities, and of course with programs where the students can be introduced to the Portuguese culture. So of course the system is different, the educational system is different, and I guess that with the families who I work with, they talk about the methods. They are really different. So, for example, the student-teacher relationship in Portugal tend to be more formal, which can be for older students a little bit challenging. So, in Portugal also, we prepare, we have a continuous assessment. So the evaluation is made like with a lot of exams during the school year, with group works, with the national exams. It's really different in Israel, where the students are more focused on the final exam, like Bagru. Okay, here the evaluation is continuous. Okay, so more for students who finished the primary school in Israel, for example, the first step is to submit their academic record to the Ministry of Education here in Portugal, to make sure that you can go to a secondary school. Okay, it's really important to make sure that you finish this stage, and then you can go into the next stage here in Portugal. That's why it's so important to prepare everything with time. More things that okay, strategies, language support, of course, for we have a lot of apps and programs, digital, in this digital world, to practice and to play and to learn also in a didactic way. Cultural integration with groups, support groups, and of course with educational support and guidance. We have students, the schools in Portugal, they also provide like counselors, and before they go to the secondary school, so they can make the right decision if they don't know what they want to be in the future. They help them. They do some exams to help them to make a right decision or an informed decision. Okay, and I guess it is, or
Joanna, I would like to ask,
yeah.
are some common challenges that you faced with other Israeli families that you already, something that people can relate to, maybe ask some?
Yeah. So of course the first one is the language, but at the schools we have virtual platforms where children can also practice the Portuguese, and of course we have that virtual platforms. They help the students to review the subjects of the class. Okay, if I didn't understand anything in the class, I have an online platform where the subject is really well explained, and for this is a solution. And the challenge is, it's of course lack of support. Families without any kind of support, so they are alone. They want to continue with their cultural traditions, and they want to keep talk their languages, and this is also a big challenges. But fortunately they find a lot of groups, a lot of there are a big movement of expatriates, so they get together and they ask also for some help, some emotional support. I guess that the biggest challenges is the language, but usually they say that cities like Lisbon, they really look like Tel Aviv, for example, because it's okay, big mistake. So they are really similar as some cities in Israel. So because they have a lot of cultural life, they have a lot of cultural diversity, so it's not so difficult to be here. So it's really, and everybody speaks better or worse a little bit of English. So if you are able to speak English, you can survive here. Okay, so the food, you can find also typical restaurants, everything. So I guess I don't know if I answered to all to your question, but I guess that the report that I have, it's all based in the language, the cultural, the school, not too much, because I guess the kids, they are really special. They adapt in each environment. So I guess this is the most
usually I think that it's mostly the language, the culture, and the bureaucracy with applying at the right time and the right document and all that to find the right way. So actually, I think that leads me to where you guys in Alesco, where you can help. I think that there are many different challenges, like very specific things that maybe you can introduce it better to everyone.
Of course. So as you saw, we start working with families all over the world, but closely to families from Israel, for the universities, for preschools, for so we can provide this service of consultation and guidance, like searching the schools, visiting the schools, helping you in this process of registration. Of course, that we cannot help you just with the documents. We have companies that work with us that help, but we guarantee that all the documents are okay before we send them to the Ministry of Education. For example, we organize visits to school on behalf of the parents, as I said already, even if they are not yet in Portugal, because we want to make sure that when you make a choice, they are the most informed possible. With coaching and workshops, we also like to empower parents to make to be informed with about educational decisions, and of course to manage this transition effectively. So of course that we also work with the parents, directly with the parents, to identify the best schools and the best curriculum for each child, considering that each one needs and potential are different. So for example, we have families with two, 3 kids, and each one has a different school. Okay, so it is possible in the same city, and we help with this. We, of course, that we help also with we have additional supports, but our experience with this process from Israel to Portugal, especially, it's really important, and it's working really good. So I'm not an expert yet because I don't speak Hebrew, but we can manage the process with all the information and all the support that this thing needs. Of course, that I have to say that not everybody can pay an extra service when we are moving from another country, but of course that time is also precious, and believe me that there's a lot of bureaucracy. As I was saying, also there is a lot of bureaucracy, and it's really difficult to understand, for me as a Portuguese person, how I need to move from one place to another, if I'm taking care of the same students. So there's a lot of steps to do. We need to ask first for one thing, and then the equivalence, and then we have to ask for the conversion of the grades. Okay, for example, for applying to the university, you have to convert the scale from the secondary school in Israel to the secondary school in Portugal. And for example, to do the national exams, even if you are living in Israel, still you have to be registered in a secondary school here in Portugal, so you can do the national exams in June. Okay, so there's a lot of things to do, and it's really difficult when you are not in presence, when you are not here personally. And we are used to help a lot of families, not just to move from another country, but also families that already live here and want to move to search another school, a better school, or want to move inside of the country, of the city. So we have a network also of trusted service provided for childcare,
אריקה, חכי לי.
language support,
אריקה, בואי אליי. בבקשה, מחכות לי.
and everything. So I don't know if we are not, or if we are now open for questions. More questions, please.
Yeah, Joanna, so I think that since I saw that some people actually wanted to read, maybe it was too small, but guys, if any of you have a question, I don't know in which phase of the process you're in, if you're facing some challenge, or I don't know, the reason that you came for this webinar, feel free to ask, because I think that you might be surprised by the options that are available from Alesco. I can tell you that because we went through and we saw so many relocation processes, it's a pivotal point to really decide which is the right school, and then everything else usually follows. Where you live, what kind of people are around you, how much you pay for groceries, and everything else is influenced by that. So I cannot stress enough how much this is important, which I think you guys already know, and we already talked about that. Joanna, if you don't mind, I will switch to Hebrew. אלסקו נמצאים בעצם בכל אזור בפורטוגל, אז באמת זה לא כל כך משנה אם אתם נמצאים בערים הגדולות יותר, שבאמת שם יש היצע, כמו שג'ואנה אמרה, היצע של בתי ספר פרטיים קצת יותר מפותח, יש הרבה מאוד פתרונות, מחינוך אלטרנטיבי ודרך בתי ספר יער, ערימות של דברים שאני כבר נתקלתי בהם, ואני לא אחד שמתעסק בזה כל היום, אבל זה באמת משהו שהוא ככה נושא מאוד מאוד גדול. אז כמובן שג'ואנה מאוד מאוד תשמח להכיר אתכם, ואתם לגמרי מוזמנים ומוזמנות. אני חושב שרוב הפעמים זה האימהות מטפלות בדברים האלה, וכמובן שנשמח לעזור לכם. אתם מוזמנים להיכנס ובאמת לשאול את כל השאלות שאתם רוצים. נראה לי שעכשיו אנחנו, שוב, נזמין אתכם כמובן, אם תרצו להעלות נושא ובינר גם, או לעשות איזשהו אירוע בלייב כזה איתנו, נשמח מאוד. Joanna, I think this is the time for us to answer everybody's questions. חברים, אתם מוזמנים ומוזמנות לפתוח מיקרופונים ופשוט להעלות שאלות. תרגישו מאוד מאוד חופשי, באמת, מה שנוח לכם, מה שנראה לכם בתהליך, מה נתקלתם בינתיים, איפה הבעיות, מה שתרצו. למישהו יש שאלה?
I talked a lot, sorry.
Yeah,
There's a lot of...
maybe. So it
Please,
seems like maybe, yeah, feel free to have any question. If you don't have any question, again, we highly invite you to talk to Jôana. I'm pretty sure that you can get the help that you need. And anyhow, if you think that you need anything else about the relocation process as a whole, of course, you can talk to us, and I'm pretty sure that we can help you. If there are no questions, I think we can okay, Amir has a question. If the parent has citizenship, but the kids not yet, can they still go to schools?
Amir, thank you so much for not making me feel alone here. So, yes, yes, it's possible. It is possible. But of course, you have to have a lot of documents. You have to pass through a process. But yes, it's possible. I don't know the age of the kids, but of course that it also depends. But it is possible. Yes, we have a lot of situations like this, and it is possible.
Amir, feel free to open your microphone if you want to have a better understanding of your process as you choose. Okay, guys. So, Jôana, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, I hope that we were helpful, and you're welcome, Amir. And let us know if you need any further help. Good night, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I guess thank you so much for participating. I guess I have to say tada. It is like this. Yeah. Yeah. Fine, perfect. So if you have any further questions, even the most basic questions, if you think they are simple or irrelevant, please feel free to ask. We are here to help you in any step of the process, to advise you, to guide you wherever you want. And of course, I have to say welcome to Portugal. As you say, the sun is beautiful, and it's a beautiful country, and feel free to contact us and to join us in this adventure in Portugal.
Bye everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.